Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Outgrow's Marketer of the Month. I'm your host, Dr. Johan Lievens, and for this month, we're going to interview Mo Kiss, who is the marketing data lead at Dada. Thanks for joining us, Mo.
Oh, happy to be here.
So, Mo, we're going to start with a rapid fire round just to break the ice. You get 3 passes. In case you don't want to answer the question, you can just say pass, but try to keep your answers to one word or one sentence only, because it's really a rapid fire round. Are you ready?
Pressure's on.
Yeah. At what age do you want to retire?
Ooh, 65.
How long does it take you to get ready in the mornings?
30 minutes now.
What's the most embarrassing moment of your life?
Oh, I'm going to pass just because I won't be able to think of something quickly.
First pass. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
What time of day are you most inspired?
First thing in the morning, hands down. And having kids really destroys that.
How many hours of sleep can you survive on? Linked to the kids, maybe.
Need or survive? Survive little, like 0 to 3.
Fill in the blank. An upcoming marketing trend is...
First-party data obsession.
The city in which the best kiss of your life happened.
Karatha.
Pick one, Mark Zuckerberg or Jack Dorsey.
I'm going to go with Zuck.
The biggest mistake of your career.
I don't believe in mistakes, just lessons.
How do you relax?
Cooking.
How many cups of coffee do you drink per day?
One, only one.
A habit of yours that you hate?
Bad at process.
The most valuable skill you've learned in life?
Communication, hands down.
And then the last one, your favorite Netflix show?
Ooh. At the moment, The Crown.
Okay. Whoa, you survived with only one pass.
I'm a pretty transparent person, so that makes life easier.
Yeah, okay, wonderful. To get things started, let's dive into the real questions then. In your opinion, will artificial intelligence in marketing enhance advertising efforts in 2023 and the upcoming years?
I think yes, but there's lots of caveats.
Mhm.
So I obviously work at a company that's inherently creative. And so balancing that need for the actual right creative tone and messaging with what AI, aka machine learning, can achieve is it's a really delicate balance between the two, in my opinion. I actually think the biggest contribution will be in terms of automating manual processes. That's the non-sexy thing that no one likes to talk about, but it's really about making marketers more efficient by helping with automation. I think that's the biggest and most interesting problem to me, but I'm sure other people think of sexier things.
Yeah. Could you explain a bit more? How does Dada deal with AI now? Is it a welcoming thing or is it also a threat for creativity?
It depends who you talk to in marketing, I would say. I think there's some areas that definitely see it as a strength. To be honest, I don't think anyone should see it as a threat. The reality is, if you work with data, it's never going to take someone's job away, because particularly once we start talking about ethics in AI and all those sorts of things, you still need humans in the process. This is not about taking people's jobs away, but it is about making the simple things happen automatically so we can spend our time on more complex problems, which is why I find it so exciting. Because even in our own team, that's exactly what we're trying to do as marketing data practitioners, is how do we answer simple questions with machine learning so that then we can spend our brain power and energy on the complicated stuff that can't be solved with a model?
Yeah. Okay, wonderful. Speaking about complex issues, do you think that GDPR as a complex issue has led to an increase rather in data quality? That it's kind of an opportunity to delve deeper into the needs of one's prospects and customers rather than the original traditional one size fits all marketing approach.
Yeah, I'm one of those weird people that gets really excited about compliance and
Hmm.
consent and GDPR and all of those topics, particularly in the marketing space. I actually think it has been phenomenally good for the industry, and I there are many, many people who probably struggle with this. I was at a marketing conference not too long ago, and people were still like, "Wait, how do we go back to what we had?" And it's like, no, the point is that we can't go back to what we had. And the reason I think it's so exciting is because it has actually forced us to adopt better techniques. And this is
Hmm.
particularly in marketing measurement. So, my view is that attribution was always a flawed system. And with GDPR and changes to cookies and all that sort of stuff, like it's just not a technology that works anymore. And the reality is, it never completely worked. It was a slightly biased view of the world, and there were human decisions that were made. And what has been really exciting that my team has been working on in marketing measurement is actually more about media mix models and, in particular, geo experiments. So it's kind of, and this is why I'm still in marketing data because I find the topic so fascinating. It's actually forced us to use more sophisticated measurement techniques that are more privacy compliant, but ultimately the actual methodology is stronger. So I see all of these changes that are happening in the industry as really positive because internally our data practices have gotten stronger as a result.
Do you think of examples of startups or of companies that are doing this well, this more complex measurement frameworks and how they use it?
Yeah, so the funny thing is, as we've started to talk a lot about what we're doing at Canva in measurement, I would say there's lots of companies actually, unfortunately, that still kind of have their head in the sand that are not uh, moving with the times. And I feel for them because I understand why, but it's just really unfortunate. In chatting to like peers in the industry and stuff, lots of companies aren't there yet. And we are definitely moving very quickly in the space at Canva. And my read of the market at the moment is that we are ahead of the pack. But the nice thing is that everyone else can then help learn from our mistakes, which I'm pretty transparent about when I, speak at conferences and that sort of thing. It's always about like what lessons have we learned when rolling this out so that other people can benefit from our learnings.
Yeah. Is there one specific lesson that comes to mind, like one to share now?
Uh One specific lesson is that you need your marketers bought in on it. Like it is, yes, we can have like the best methodology in the world, but if they don't understand fundamentally the approach that we're taking and why it's better, like they're not going to be part of the conversation, right? Like they're not even going to be bought in. In fact, you'll go in that cycle of like, but the attribution model said this and your numbers are now saying that. And like there's a 10% variance and why is that? And like those conversations are not actually constructive because you're measuring things in a different way. And so the biggest takeaway that I've had is like you want it to be really collaborative. And the truth of the matter is I've been so fortunate. We work with the most incredible marketers. Everyone is completely obsessed with the concept of incrementality, which is kind of fundamental to this new measurement framework. And yeah, it's been really exciting, but that's because we have the marketers bought in. I think if you were fighting to convince them, it would be a much harder job.
Yeah, that's a valuable lesson. Thank you. You already touched upon it very slightly. There's also the evolution in terms of browser cookies.
Mm.
Do you think the demise of browser cookies has ushered in a golden age of digital marketing, one in which advertisers may forge a new relationship with consumers built upon trust and an open exchange of value?
Yeah, again, I don't see the deprecation of like third party cookies and whatnot as a particularly bad thing. I actually personally am of the school of thought of like there always should have been value for our users, right? And there should be a value exchange of we're helping make whatever the process is or whatever your experience is better in exchange for the data that you're giving us. And I love the fact that this direction means that that becomes more important and it forces people at companies who maybe didn't care about that stuff to be like, oh, I have to actually care about it. I know, yeah, from some of the like conversations I've been having externally, that people are now really starting to focus on first party data, and like some companies are quite panicked about that. I'm really fortunate. I work in a company that has amazing first party data and will continue to. So I guess the takeaway for those listening is, if you're somewhere that isn't prioritizing the quality of your first party data, like now is really the time to be leaning in and talking to your marketing data folks to make sure that you're getting support in that area. But yeah, ultimately, I think the value exchange has always been there. It's just, it's going to convince everyone to prioritize it when maybe some people were taking it for granted before.
Yeah. You already mentioned it in the quick fire round as well. First party data as the marketing trend. If this was an award ceremony and you had to convince the audience that it's the right topic to award the best marketing trend award to, what specifically about first party data is to be applauded?
The funny thing is, I actually don't think it should be. I think it's a trend because marketers are really concerned about it. And particularly companies maybe who aren't doing it well are starting to like panic a little bit. For me, I actually think the most exciting trend is to do with clean rooms and the measurement stuff that I mentioned before, but I don't want to harp on about that again. I actually think the concept of clean rooms and how we still achieve our marketing objectives while making sure that like data is depersonalized and we're not sharing things with companies that we don't need to, like that, I think is actually the most exciting thing, and that should be getting the award. So
Yeah. Okay. For our listeners, could you maybe, by talking from how Canva uses both concepts, how is Canva using clean room? How is Canva using um, the first party data? Explain a bit more. Elaborate on what these concepts mean to Canva.
yeah, so clean, like full transparency, the clean room projects are just starting to kick off. Like
Hmm.
Google and Meta both have their versions of those products that, don't quote me on it because I can't remember which ones exactly are in beta. So we're in the very early stages of that. And that will be, that's why I say it's like the trend of 2023, is because it's going to be what everyone's focusing on. And a big part of our team is going to be working on that integration as well. When it comes to first party data, uh, I would say it's more about ensuring quality data and like really solid model builds to make sure that you're not capturing everything under the sun. You're capturing the stuff that you need to, and that it's really well modeled so that you can use it for reporting purposes instead of perhaps relying on third party marketing tools to tell you if you're doing a good job at marketing. You should be able to leverage what you have in house.
Yeah. Maybe that touches upon my next question, which would be, what is, in your opinion, the difference between being data driven and data informed in 2023? Is that difference in the same direction?
Yeah, this is a real stumper. Um, to be honest, I don't even know what the term data driven means, and that's my own uh confusion as someone that works in the data industry. Like I feel like it's a term that gets used a lot, and so many people have a different interpretation of what it means, what it doesn't mean. It's quite loaded. I think I would probably just take a step back, and instead, when I look at our organization, I really like the word like, is data fueling decisions? Like to me, that's the goal, right? Like, are we using our findings about marketing data to really affect change in the business? And I actually think that that's probably more important because, yeah, like data driven or data informed, they just are so politically loaded. And I don't think people even know. Well, I don't know what they mean anymore. Maybe you should tell me.
Yeah. No, but you replace it with data fueled.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds a bit sexier too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Okay, let's move on. What is your opinion on ad spend in 2023? Do you anticipate a rise in digital advertising spending in the upcoming year?
Oh, what a stumper. So I think there is a lot of forces at play in the market right now. And my expectation is not necessarily that, because like there are lots of big tech companies that are going through some pretty uh difficult situations in terms of like layoffs or restructures and stock prices declining. So I don't think that we're going to see like a huge increase, especially in digital spend. What I think most people are going to be focused on, and this is certainly what I'm focused on, is how do we improve the measurement of our spend to ensure that every dollar we spend is being spent in the most efficient way possible. And to me, that's really exciting because I think that's how we should actually be focused, instead of, it's not actually about I guess the overall budget. It's about, is the budget that we have being spent in the smartest way possible. And for 2023, I know internally we're using a much more test and learn approach of unlocking spend versus like an assumption that we often make at the start of the year of we're going to spend X amount on this channel and that channel. We're really moving to more of an experimentation model of, let's try this particular tactic or technique or campaign or channel or whatever it is for a period of time. Let's set up a proper experimentation framework. And if we're able to prove that that money is efficiently spent, then let's double down on it and let's reinvest, or let's try that in another market or that sort of thing. And so actually making sure that the decisions we do make about our ad spend are really based on learnings and not gut.
Yeah. Do you see other companies or startups that inspire you in this?
In terms of their measurement approach
Yeah,
or
in terms of
the
their smart approach to ad spending in a way.
to be honest, I don't really have exposure to other companies' ad spending to know, but I would love anyone to hit me up on Twitter if they see companies that they find particularly inspiring in the space. I would actually love to come up with a bit of a dossier on who's doing it well so that we can learn from them.
Yeah, because it seems like Canva is doing well. Um, how does Canva position itself as a relatively new player towards others in this debate of ad spend?
Uh I think generally, and this is like a very broad statement, but we tend to focus on running our own race. Like we want to empower the world to design, and that's our mission. There isn't so much focus on, what another company's doing or what another company's spending. It's really on what are our long-term objectives and how do we make sure that we're investing in the right places to achieve those objectives.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. We're already at our last question, and it's a bit of a personal kind. But what would you be doing in your life if not this?
Oh, what would I be doing in my life? The funny thing is, I am a person, I grew up moving around a lot. And I truly believe that you can live anywhere and be happy. I also have been through, if anyone does look at my LinkedIn, I have had some very weird jobs that will make sense to no one. I used to work in youth justice in the criminal justice system. I used to work in like policy for our federal government. And people kind of look at me and they're like, how did you end up in data? And it actually makes complete sense. If you sit me down with a glass of wine, I can explain how that transition happened. I think you can be happy in any career also, as long as you can find the bits that you're really passionate about. And so, for example, what I do in marketing data, I'm really passionate about learning and constantly like evolving my knowledge on a particular topic. I'm really passionate about the team that I lead and coach and their professional development. I really care about giving back to the data community because the data community helped me so phenomenally much when I was transitioning into the industry. So for me, it's not about like, is there another specific job I would be doing? It's that I think you can find happiness in any career as long as there are some components of those things that matter to you. And so for me, it would be like, what would I be doing that involved, sharing my learnings, myself continuing to learn, and like really developing other people and their skills and helping them uncover what their superpowers are. And I feel like there are so many jobs in the world where I could probably find that. So
Yeah. If not data, then anything else that drives your passion
yeah,
or
pretty
makes it.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining us for this month's episode of Outgrow's Marketer of the Month. That was Mo Kiss. Thanks for joining us, Mo. Check out their Twitter, MoMKiss, for more details, and we'll see you once again next month with another Marketer of the Month.